So welcome to my watercolour illustration this week. As it says in the title, this piece was inspired by a holiday to Menorca recently, where we had lots of little birds who kept flying all over the tables and the outside area of the restaurant, and not everyone liked it, but I thought it was really sweet and I'd draw a picture from it. So I did the outline and I used a Prismacolor col-erase pencil, and then went in and did a background, just like a flat wash in my watercolour paints. And in between layers I did hairdry it to try and get a smooth finish. And to paint these in, I started off with a wide brush, but that didn't really work to go around the details areas of the birds, so I changed it up to a smaller round brush, which was a lot easier. I decided against using masking fluid because I could have put that on the birds and then just done my wash all over the piece, but sometimes if you're hair drying, then the masking fluid doesn't always come off very easily and can tear the paper, so I did it the long way round, but I did have a lot of fun doing this one. And so to start with, I just sort of thought I'd do some sort of flat colours without any shading, just for the underlayers. And what I'm painting in now is just a really juicy looking cake. The little birds at the restaurant, they didn't come and take huge chunks of the cake like this, but they did take opportunity for any leftover crumbs and things, and they'd sort of sit on the back of the chairs and watch what people had left behind, I guess. So I think they were sparrows, but they were only little tiny birds, and they were really sweet. So for the birds themselves, I just started doing with a brown colour, and I go in later and put in some more details. So to start with, it looks a bit plain and a bit flat and lacking in detail, but we jazz it up a bit later. And when I was doing the illustration, I tried to do the birds, to draw them all in different sort of positions, so they each had a little character of their own, and they all had kind of had a purpose on the picture. They weren't just all standing around, they were all looking at each other or going in to take something, like the strawberries that I'm just painting now. I do like the idea that when you're drawing an illustration, that each illustration that you draw, if you imagine it was a page in a picture book or something, that each illustration would tell a story by itself. So hopefully I've achieved that with this picture. If you can hear a dog barking in the background, it's Milo, who was meant to be being quiet in the garden while I do my voiceover, but Milo finds it really hard to be quiet at all. You might not be able to hear him, but I can hear him. So I was just adding a little bit more detail to the cake, and then going in with some green for the top of the strawberries. So I didn't want to overcomplicate this illustration with too many way out colours, so I did think about my colour scheme before I started painting, and at one point I was going to do a pink background, but reverted back to doing blue like the sky. And when I was doing the wash, I picked up some of the paint with a bit of kitchen roll or tissue paper, just to give a sort of look of clouds maybe. Because the restaurant was outside, so I thought it was right that it would be a sky. Now, after I'd done the initial sketch of the little birds on the cake, I thought it would be quite fun to finish off my kind of story by adding a cat in the background. But I didn't want it to take over the picture. I just thought it would be nice if the birds are watching the cake for the cat to be watching the birds. And I drew him in over the top of my paint with a grey marker pen, Copic marker, because I'm trying to get used to using those at the moment. And although it was quite a simple drawing of the cat, I thought it was quite a nice touch. And then once I'd done that, I then went in with my col-erase pencil just to add some shading and some shadows. Milo's still barking. And for the icing itself, I thought I'd just give it a bit of a pink tinge as well, so it wasn't just flat white. But you might not be able to see that in the picture because it's very faint. So once I'd done that, I went in and used my colour pencils just to give the little birds a bit more detail, adding some different colours to their feathers and helping them to stand out as well, because they are kind of the feature of the illustration. So I was thinking of doing some more illustrations on Tuesday, because I've watched some YouTube videos, and at some point there was a 52-week illustration challenge, which I've been really enjoying people's videos, and kind of wanted to do something a bit similar to that, although probably won't be doing it for 52 weeks. But let me know what you think, whether I should carry on doing these little illustrations, because I've got lots of ideas that I got on holiday, or whether you'd like to see me do something else. And if there is something else you'd like me to draw or try, then feel free to leave a comment in the comments box. And if you like this sort of thing, then you can also go onto my ArtCadets Instagram page, where I've posted some more, they're more just pencil sketches, but they're ideas that I might turn into paintings or coloured illustrations at some point. So just go to ArtCadets on Instagram. And I didn't add too much detail to the cat itself, but I did add just a little bit of texture to the tail with a bit of pencil crayon. And then using a fine liner, I thought it would help to bring out the shape of the birds a little bit more. And this was in a sepia colour, it wasn't in black. But this did really help them stand out, and I decided not to outline the cat because I wanted the cat to be just sort of in the background and not not outlined the same as the birds. For the rest of the illustration for the cake, I just outlined, gave it a bit more of a detail in a fine pencil. And then last of all, I added some more colour to the sky and the table with some soft pastel on a cotton ball, and some highlights and last minute touches with my white pen.